my storage is backed up to such a level that usually I can't even do a video. And I guess a rational way to see this is, well, I need to delete some stuff. I need to back up my phone. I need to organize my files. And all of those suggestions and points would be valid and correct. As much as I did dabble in some of that, what I actually started to press play on instead of my video was to go on live. And then people are like, oh my god, that's so narcissistic. Like, you're looking for attention, or you're looking for approval. You really think that it's cool, that you're gonna gain some traction, that people are gonna actually feel like they would come out of this, you know, few seconds, few minutes with something valuable? Why would I listen to you? Why would we listen to you? How obnoxious is it that you press play on live like that, and all you're doing is yapping? Like, can't you not prepare? Can't you do a pitch deck at least? Like, show some resources, have a PDF link in the bottom of the screen, like something. You can't just go on live like that. That was 5, 7 years ago. And recently I was like, no, I go on live because it forces me to be accountable and to kind of push myself to speak in a manner where I am purposely choosing to try to be understandable and understood. So it's an effort, because everything is clear in your mind, in your head. Like, what you think, what you see, what you perceive, how you feel is very clear to you. Coming outside of your inner self to express things is, activating your throat chakra. Is generally like choosing to not say platitudes, not speak in corporate jargon, not sound like you know exactly all the details and all the data. Actually do your homework properly so that you speak like somebody that is present in the now, but also know your numbers, know where you're going, know who's around the table, or at least, if not, you're curious to learn, you're curious to hear, you're curious on what's currently going on, and how we can, you know, go from the economy mode to like growing the luminosity, growing the stats over the next few steps, few combos. Um, I was forcing myself to go with gaming analogy, and I realized I don't play, so it shows. Um, we are in this portion of the end of the year where a lot of people share their rollouts, like everything that they listened to or that they watched. I came across a fantastic woman called Fatima a week ago, about a week ago, a week ago, about a week ago. And she was asking really good questions, because sometimes I mingle with people, I don't know exactly what to say, but she was asking me, like, so what are you into, so we don't talk about work or the weather. It's about literature. And she's like, really? And at first I honestly thought she was like judging me, finding me like boring or odd for reading. And she's like, no. Well, she didn't say that. That's the impression I had, right? Whenever I say I like literature, I like to read, people are like, okay, whatever. She showed me a file, an Excel sheet, like template. Basically, I was showcasing how far along she was in the different title that she has read throughout the year, the title that were completed, and as well as articles from blogs and whatnot. It was like, okay, magazines and whatnot, like, oh, research paper, okay. And everything was clear and efficient and easy to see at a glance. And I was like, oh my God. After seeing that, she offered me to send me the file. I was like, what? Of course I would like to have that. Because then you can just change the titles, change the numbers, and make it your own, right? I did a typo in how I saved the email. Like, I emailed her, I think that evening or the next day. And it's when I emailed her that I got the email notification telling you that your email in CC is incorrect and was bounced back, basically. So I'm like, okay, that's okay. I can look it up. Then, in terms of organizing information, back in the summertime, I was chatting with a photographer acquaintance of mine I met a few years back, and he was like, I need administrative support because I have thousands. Is not even close to the number. It's like I have memory cards on memory cards on memory cards on memory cards of media and data and video. I need to organize it by subject, by date, by name, by color grading, whatever it is. But I need a setup because trying to find things when I'm trying to create a project for me or for a client, or even showcase a portfolio or a book is complicated because everything, like, I have like 30,000 pictures. So it's like, okay, you don't realize, but that shit adds up. So I was like, okay, there's ways to kind of organize information so that you set up a system, a structure that makes sense today at a glance, and long form as well. And the same principle work for, a photographer, videographer. The same principle applies for articles, for research, bibliography. And then when it comes to doing operation, administration, organizing a database so that the information is easily accessible and clear for all involved, it's like somewhat of a really big mountain right now. And I was freezing, and it's not because it was like, oh my God, it's hard. It's like, it's not even hard. It's that you just have to do one thing at a time. But actively, if you freeze, there's a need to acknowledge that your fear is an illusion. I had to come to terms with myself that I was being complacent, and I was not necessarily showcasing the integrity and respect that I had for my craft, for people, for values that I say are dear to myself, or dear to a Christian, or dear to a person that have esteem and respect for others. Maybe my heart of hearts believed that, but my behavior was dismissive or discouraged, very discouraged. But it's perceived not as discouragement, it's just perceived as laziness or lack of effectiveness, unmanageable. If you say you're going to do something, you don't do it. It sounds like you don't manage your time well. The contrary, the reverse, the antonym of, being able to manage your time effectively, manage your project effectively, is that you're unmanageable, you're untrustworthy. And the good news is at any time, if you're used to bullshit and a mess and a lack of structure, there's a reason for why you didn't instill it till now, because everything is online, everything is in the library, everything is available if you are open and curious to learn and apply. But every 24 hours that I walk away, every 24 hours that I let my negative bias and the potential disapproval, disagreement, and uncomfortable truth keep Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, the video was on pause. Well, not on pause, but on the pitch deck screen background for fucking 11 minutes. So it's been 11 minutes that I've been speaking. Because I was like, I guess they go online, and I was like, you know what? While I wait, let me press play and choose to share some cringe, vulnerable, unnecessary status update. So yeah, honestly, when I reflect, there's a lot that has moved forward and have improved and bloomed. There's things though where it's like in the spring when you see the different little blooms, but they didn't purse yet. They didn't purge the air to get some sunlight. It's time to get some sunlight now, and it's a whole thing where I'm a human. I'm not a plant. If I want to go outside, I can just put shoes on, get dressed, go outside. So oftentimes people are like, if you don't have issues with your legs or your back, you don't have a health concern. You're not in pain physically that much. What's your excuse? Why don't you just take a walk every day? What do you mean you don't go? If you know water is good for you and it's very easy for you to obtain, you just have to get up, get a glass of water or a water bottle or whatever it is. But you don't do it. What do you mean you don't do it? You stay in the habits you know and the standard um, that are familiar to you. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily the best way, it's just what you're used to. So, the same way I've been on autopilot in some ways, it's kind of necessary now. Now o'clock, live o'clock. Play pause and come back, not for recess, but like actually recess, but reassess recess. She's like, how can we learn but have fun at the same time? How can we do this work but have fun at the same time? So it's not just serious, serious, serious. Why so serious? Um, I'm fully aware that strategizing differently means trying again.